Race 6 on the card is a quasi-conditions race, a quasi-plate race. It's a conditional graduation plate for fillies and mares over 1,750 meters, so it's not a true graduation race. There are some conditions that affect the weights. Nonetheless, in these races, you can usually go by the best weighted column and use that as a guide. But Warren, perhaps not so easy this time. I made this a very, very difficult race. Number 2, Maiden's Prayer, certainly is the best rated, the best weighted. But she's without a win for 457 days. And more than that, she goes more ground. She's going ground that she's never been before. The furthest that she's been previously has been 1,400 meters. She goes 1,750 meters. Now that could see her bounce back to her best, or maybe it's not going to work out in her favor. I've given her the benefit of the doubt. She is my first choice, but I found this to be a very, very difficult race.
When I sat and looked at the 6th race, you'll see by my scribblings on my pad here, I've changed my numbers 4 times at least, because to try and decipher who's going to win this race, let alone 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, is not easy. Yes, you're right, the best weighted column. I don't agree with the best weighted column in this instance. I've only put Maiden's Prayer in for 3rd. You've tipped her to run 1st. Yeah, interesting. Silver Magic keeps jumping out at me. She's run behind Eden Garden Splits. She's a consistent filly. I remember talking to Dean Canamay about her, and he said she's a lovely filly. She certainly runs well, tries of her best, very hard. Cavian's Cara, also lightly raced, could be anything. Talking about could be anything, Graham 10, Treasured Pearl. Her race rating is a 76, her merit rating is an 88. She's won 2 from 3. She could be anything. So hard to assess this race, really. You know, and we don't want to sound like we're about as much use as an ashtray on a motorbike to the viewers, but it is that hard.
It is. Let's go back to the best weighted column. Number 2, Maiden's Prayer, is best weighted, but we've explained that those ratings were achieved over less ground, so she could be vulnerable over this extra distance. Number 3, Preferential, we haven't mentioned, Marcus Rides, is in fact the early favourite at 7-2. That's an indication of how difficult the race is. They're betting 7-2 the field in a 10-horse party. Well drawn. Her race rating is 81. Silver Magic's race rating is 82, but she's yet to win on the turf. That's a little bit of a worry for me. 4, Cavian's Cara is not at first glance well treated in terms of the weights, but when you add back the apprentice allowance, her race rating goes up to 83, which in fact puts her in 2nd. And I've got healthy respect in this race for number 4, Cavian's Cara. But as you said, we could go on and on and on, because this is a very tricky race. I've gone very wide in my permutations, as you will see. I've given the benefit of the doubt to number 2, Maiden's Prayer, that she may actually appreciate the extra ground. But on best form, she can win it, but she's certainly no good thing.